हाय।
Good afternoon to all. Hello.
சார் நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க சார்.
Okay, so I can start. So you have about 144 participants. Anyway, good evening all. So let me start without waiting for. So let me see whether I am audible to you and you are able to see the screen. If you can see the screen, you can probably message on the chat window. So yeah, some yes is coming. Somebody's mic is on, then this is not going to work well at all. So everybody should mute the mic, and we don't need any video, so you can switch off the videos. So video is going to take away your bandwidth and create problems. So if you have videos, you can switch off the video, you can mute, or if there is some administrator, they can switch off the audio video for everyone. I'm also not going to come on the video. I'm going to share my screen. My screen should be visible. It's the Firefox window. Video will not come, but you have to see only the screen that comes. It must be showing now that you are presenting to everyone. Stop presenting. This is what you should be seeing now. But it will be a Firefox window with many tabs open for you. I think that is what you should see now. So you cannot see me. I'm not going to show now. So you should see my web page now. Probably some links are now shown. So if it is coming, then it is perfect. So we can begin. So let me open some other page. Now you should be able to see that ZB math on your screen. So if you are able to see this, I think I'm going to begin. Yeah, so now I'm hearing that many saying yes. So we can stop saying yes now. So I will proceed further now. So I'm Professor Ravichandran from NIT Tiruchirappalli, and I studied in National College in Trichy and worked in Venkateshwara College in Chennai for some time, and then went to Malaysia, and then from there I reached Delhi, and then I recently joined NIT Trichy. So the first question is, am I a right person to talk about how to write mathematics? Because the title for the session is how to write for mathematical sciences or something similar is given. I have no ready-made presentation, so I'm not going to show you any presentation. I'm going to talk on the air. I will be showing many things. We will discuss, or I will say something more and more about how to write, show you what some expert says about all this writing business. So let me show you why I am the right person. In some Pattimandram once, Kannadasan was asked to talk about birth control. And people said, hey, how can you ask him to talk about birth control? He has 10, 12 children, something like that. When Kannadasan came and he told, hey, I am the right person because I know what it means, So something similar I am going to show. I am going to show a paper that I have written way back in 1993 when I was an MSc student in National College. I think this is what we will be seeing now. This was something written during October 1989. We have two authors in the paper. Though the address says National College, we both are students of National College. I joined teaching profession. The other author joined as a IRPS officer. He is the Chief Personnel Officer, Southern Railway now. Why I am showing is this is the paper that I have written first. And this is the best example of a paper for how not to write. So let us glance through this paper first and then criticize this. So, I have chosen my own paper, not to show somebody's paper. So you can see that the title itself is a very awkward title because it says proofs for Ramanujan's formula. The title doesn't say anything to anybody because Ramanujan has proved hundreds of thousands of formulas. So when you say proofs of Ramanujan's formula, which formula? And there are many questions related to that. Is it related to numbers, or is it related to integrals, or is it related to series, and so on? So the title itself is a meaningless title. And then you can see that it is written by two authors' names are written. And it doesn't say which department they belongs to. In both cases, it doesn't say anything about the department to which the author belongs to. So the address itself is incomplete. And it says Trichy. So you and me know Trichy, but somebody elsewhere may not know where is Trichy. So it is
Sir, can't hear.
incomplete.
Can't hear you, sir.
Can't hear. Hello. So far so good, I guess. Nothing is audible so far or just now? Is it a problem cropped up just now or you never heard anything so far? Because I was talking for about 5 minutes now.
So voice is audible only. Only the screen is not able to see now.
Screen, you may be seeing the current screen wherein the chat is going on and so on, correct? Now you will be seeing back my paper that I have shown you earlier. Is the paper visible now? I have to go back.
No, sir.
There should be a paper coming.
It is not visible now.
It may be due to the bandwidth problem, but it may come after let us see. Is it coming? Anything is coming in the screen or not? What is coming in the screen then for those who are able to see the screen?
So nothing. We are able to see our profile photo only.
I see. But my screen is sharing.
Excuse me, sir. Actually,
yeah.
the screen is visible. Your abstract is visible.
Yeah, that is what it should be visible because this is what is I am showing on the screen. So visible, correct? For some of you, it may be a bandwidth problem in your side. Should we go ahead?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think so. Voice is audible. Some people are saying, let us see.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, someone else is presenting. I think that is what it says. I think I am presenting it. This is what it is. Okay, so let me go ahead and then let us see. So you can see that the author information is not good. Even the abstract you can now read. It is just single line. 3 results of Ramanujan is proved inductively. There are grammatical error and it doesn't say anything about which Ramanujan. There may be Ramanujan. There was a teacher for me by name S. Ramanujan again. Is it a result or result of Srinivasa Ramanujan that we talk about? All these are not clear here. And there is nothing like section 1, section 2, something like that here. It says definition, formula 1, proof, formula 2, and so on. And then finally, a reference comes and then there in the story. Even the reference is not really written well. It doesn't say author name and so on.
Sir, sorry for the disturbance, sir.
Yeah. What is that?
Sir, your profile is there in the screen, sir.
But some says they are able to see. That is what the question.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, they have to pin your V. Ravichandran in the people. One bell icon is there. They have to pin to that. Then your screen will be visible to all.
This instruction you should tell them now.
Yeah.
You want to tell them so that I can wait?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can tell them so that...
Sir, can't hear properly. Sir, it's not audible.
I'm just silent because some message need to be given to others to pin the screen. Something like that is what I am told. So, is it now visible? I don't know. We have to see. Yeah, still. Yeah, it should be visible now. Let us see. So I think my voice may be coming, if not the screen. So I think even if voice is coming, that is perfectly all right. Screen doesn't matter now because I'm not going to talk about what is there in the screen now. Maybe we will talk about some general thing for some more time. So I will go back to the screen where I can see the chat window. So I'm going to, other things will not be visible now. I will be in the chat window now to see the message and so on. Yeah, so nothing to worry about the screen that I have shown you now. So nothing, you don't need to worry about what is coming on the screen. If you can hear me, that is perfectly all right. So there are many things about writing a paper for a journal. Maybe there are many things that we will be writing. We will be writing, for example, a book. Before we started the presentation, I was scrolling down a topology book, topology notes that I have prepared just only yesterday. So you may be preparing either a topology notes or a book, or you may be preparing a research paper and so on. I think this talk I will focus more on preparing a research paper. So what are the things that you should see as a author of a research paper? So my advice are all going to be based on my own personal experience of writing a very nice paper way back in 1993 that I have shown you, to the paper that I have written just recently. I have seen many things during writing all these papers. So I'm going to explain some of these things. I'm also an editor for a journal by name Bulletin of the Malaysian Mathematical Sciences Society. So there we receive about 1,500 papers per year. So I have a lot of papers to look at and then decide, and then reject many of the papers on spot. So how do we do that? We do many times by looking at how the papers are written. So writing the paper is a very important thing. So you cannot just like that write and then the journal will take care of and so on. No, never. Journal people will never take care of the way you write your papers. So you can see that my screen is filled with so many submissions from Bulletin. If you are seeing the screen, and if you can see that I have lot of submission for this year, for the 2020, within 5 months, we have got about 600 submissions. So if you have to handle 600 submission in 6 months, then it is not going to be an easy job, So one criteria that we adopt is to reject papers which are not written well. Okay, so we reject.
Hello, sir.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Yeah, somebody muted me, somebody was doing something. So somebody muted me, so I have to unmute. Okay. I think now it should be audible now.
Okay,
somebody is playing. Somebody's audio is on. Shobana, her audio is on. So her voice is coming or noise is coming from there. Okay, so I just shown you my mailbox, with a lot of mails, hundreds of mails that came and then waiting in my queue for decision. I don't know whether you can see that there are many that says backlog and so on. Anyway, let me not show you that too much. So writing is so important. So how do you write the paper? That is an important thing. So I'm going to say something about all these things. So So let us say one by one. So let me start assuming that you are going to write a research paper, and then you want to know what are the things that you should know before writing a research paper. I shown you my paper wherein the title is not so good, and the abstract is not well written, and there is no sectioning of the paper, and then reference really hopeless. So I'm going to talk about each one of the thing one by one. To begin with, let us talk about the title. Actually, the title is so important that it should reflect the whole content of the research paper. By reading the paper, reading the title of your paper, the reader should be able to see what is there inside your paper. The title should be so chosen like that. If it is not chosen like that, then that is not a good paper. So whenever you choose a title for your paper, you should choose in such a way that the words are important words from your paper. There is nothing like loose words. Like, don't say that important properties of that kind of words is not.
Hello, sir. Sir? Sir? Someone muted you, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah. I unmuted again. I think this is the problem. Somebody is playing again and again.
Sir, at the same time, your screen is not visible, sir. Only your profile is there, sir.
That is what, I have no presentation as such. I'm going to talk and then show you some windows from my Firefox every now and then. I may be switching between one window to another. So when I don't want to show anything, just talk, I will be showing the actual, the Meet page, Google Meet page, where profile will be seen. If I want to switch between another screen from my browser only, I will be switching like this only sometime, correct? Otherwise, I will come back to the screen and then stay there only so that I can see what is going on in the chat. So that is what the mechanism that I am adopting. So no PPT will be ever shown on my presentation. So no PPT, it is just listen. If you can hear me, that is very good. Fine, perfect, finish. Okay, so I was just talking about title of the paper. Title is so important. You should choose title in such a way that it says something about the whole paper, It is really difficult. When I was writing my PhD thesis way back in 1993, my supervisor asked me, write 10 titles for your thesis, come. Because, then he gave a 11th title altogether. So, and today I'm not even happy with that 11th title. So it will be like that. So you have to really spend a lot of time thinking about how to write the title of your paper. Because the title is the one thing that we often see and then reject a paper. The title itself will indicate novel properties or novel algorithm for solving second order differential equation. If you write such title, then I will really reject the paper immediately, because who are you to tell that your algorithm or something is novel? Somebody else should come and say that your algorithm is novel. So when you claim that your algorithm is novel, this is not something really great that we want to hear from you in the title. So you should try to put something that conveys the content, not to really, praise your paper. So anyway, the title should be very meaningful. It should not be lengthy. It should not be too short. So maybe 2 lines of, title is normal, is very good. But more than that, if it is too lengthy, then it is not going to work. Too short, it will not convey anything. So make sure that your title reflects the content of the paper and doesn't have any dummy words. This is the advice that I can give about writing the title. Let me come back to the author information. So the author information is the next thing that will appear in a paper. So normally in a medical paper, you will see 500 authors that will fill several pages. Maybe in an engineering or a research-oriented subject like physics, chemistry, and botany, or a similar subject where there is a lab, and the lab there may be hundreds of people working. And in those places, there may be many authors. I have seen papers with 500 authors in Elsevier. But in mathematics, normally 2 authors. In the worst case, there will be 3 authors. So the convention in mathematics is that we write the author name in alphabetical order. We don't write author name in any other order. Generally, we write it in alphabetical order. This is what is the preferred way of writing author name in mathematics paper. And also follow the consistent style, you know. If you are putting initial for you first, for your co-author also you put initial first. If you are abbreviating the co-author's name, you also abbreviate your name. Some consistency in writing the name itself. And then you give the complete address. Complete address doesn't mean that you write professor or associate professor or research scholar. I think this information should not be shown at all. Don't show that you are an assistant professor, because that will help me reject your paper easily, because he is a young fellow, he may not have much experience in research, so it may get rejected. As I told you, when you get thousands of paper, we need a reason to reject your paper, not to accept and proceed further. We need some reason. If you say research scholar, then he will say, hey, he is a young guy, he may not know how to write even, so reject. So it will happen. So this is so you don't give your position as such. You just say what is your name, and then you write the department name, and then you write the university name, and then you give which city it belongs to, and then the pin code, and then country name, finish it. And you provide email. So just write the complete information, and then do all these things for each author. Okay, for each author, you provide the name, address, including the country name, and then email address. If you have the website from your institute, then you can include the website address. In some journal, they may ask for phone numbers. I think most mathematical journal never ask for phone numbers kind of information, so don't worry about it. So this author information you can place in alphabetical order with all information. This is a very simple thing to do. So you can give all these things. And then abstract. Before coming to abstract, let me tell you one more thing. This is all about the software that you use to type your mathematical papers. As an editor for the Bulletin Malaysian Mathematical Society, I received the 1,000 papers. At least some 100 of them are coming from India. And we reject 95% of them. Only 5 out of the 100 paper may go into the refereeing process. One reason why we reject most of the paper is because they are prepared very poorly, and also using the Microsoft product. The MS Word is what you people are using to prepare your paper. MS Word is not the software for preparing mathematics paper. So you have to use only TeX. So once you have the LaTeX software, you can prepare wonderful papers. So we should learn LaTeX software as such and prepare the paper in LaTeX. Once you prepare in LaTeX, your paper will be looking much better than what you do it in Microsoft Word. So one important criteria is that you use LaTeX software. LaTeX is a free software, most of you may be knowing. And for Windows, you can download the software from mictech.org. So you can download the software from this mictech.org. So this latest version is there. It was released only in 2020. Very recently, some 10 days back, it was released, the latest software. This mictech is a free software. You can download it and install. And then there are many other software that you have to install along with it. This one is a command-oriented software. If you want a front end, for example, you can have winedit.org. There you can download the WinEdit software, and the WinEdit software will be a shareware software. This WinEdit is a shareware, and you can try for 30 days, and then if you like, you can buy it. Otherwise, there are many other software. For example, you have TechStudio. TechStudio.org. This is the free software that is available, and it is really like WinEdit software you can download and then install. So first thing first, you have to install the MikTeX software, and then install either the TechStudio or the WinEdit, or there are a host of other software that you can use, and then type your paper by using this. This is what general suggestion for the software part. So never use Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is a software that is used only by the office people, and it is part of the MS Office. It is good for the office people of your department, not for the professors and teachers. So let me come back to this screen. There is nothing to show there on the other screen. You will now see an icon only. So the third thing that you will see in a paper is the abstract. Again, you know, as I told you that the title should reflect the content of the paper. That is the first level crude approximation of your paper. The abstract is the second level of abstraction of your paper. That information should be little more than the information that is given in the title. So there are many things that you have to take care of in so let me send the link to the software, miktech.org, TechStudio.org, WinEdit.org. There is no ADIT, there is only ADT. In the WinEdit software, it is WinEdit.org. These are the three sites where you have to download. Two of them is good enough. miktech.org is the software from there is compulsory. After installing that MikTeX software, you have to either install TechStudio, which is completely free, or else you can try the winedit.org, that is a shareware software. So the first two will be very good combination. Okay, let me come back to the abstract portion again. So the abstract is the second level of abbreviating your whole content, abstraction of your whole paper. So you have to summarize what you have done in your abstract, but not to really do a big abstraction. The big abstraction will come in the introduction of your paper, but this should elaborate little more than that your title of the paper. So title may give an idea of what all the problem that you have done or something like that, but you have to elaborate little more here on the abstract part. So you can tell what are the problems that you have done, what are the results that you have got. Maybe you can write about at least 6-7 lines easily about your paper there, not more than that. As a general advice, don't write in this present investigation, in the present paper. Don't write any such dummy words. Even don't write said we prove important properties of blah blah blah. This kind of dummy words never used. Directly you say that we prove that every differentiable function is continuous, and then we show that the functions are integrable or something like that. Straight away you say what you have done, in a few simple lines. You might have proved many more things, but you don't need to say everything. You can say what are the important things that you have proved in your paper in 3-4 simple lines. You can probably say that, oh, my result improves the earlier known result. Sometimes, you have to put a reference, but generally references should not come in the abstract. Why reference should not come in the abstract? Because the references should not come in the abstract, because this abstract will be stored in many databases. they just copy your abstract and store it in databases, and therefore references will not be visible. Even if you say square bracket 2, in this paper they have done something, then you will not see the paper in a database. Only the MathCNet now allows references to be listed along with the abstract. But most other databases, they don't capture your references, they capture only the abstract part. So if the abstract has references, this is not going to really help. And for full paper, it is all right to have the references. So the general suggestion, avoid all references in the abstract. If at all, if you want to have references, then the reference should be written in complete. So you should not write a square bracket 2, square bracket 3 kind of thing. You should write it in full. You write full title, author information, title, journal information, everything in the paper. That will be the best option. So, so that is all about abstract. So no dummy words. Summarize the whole paper in 3-4 lines, not to exceed 7-8 lines. Another thing is that you should not have big displayed equations. No definition, no theorems in that abstract. Okay, no definition, no theorems, nothing. You have to only say what you have done in a plain layman language, because this abstract is read by a mathematician who is not an expert in your field. It may be an editor, it may be the referee, it may be another reader of your paper. They may read the abstract, and if there is an interest in your paper, then only they will continue reading. So you are writing abstract for a common reader of a journal, okay? Even it may be for the editor. So you should write in such a way that it conveys your content of the paper in a layman language. That is what the purpose of abstract. When you write the more detailed information about what you have done, that is the introduction part. So before coming to the introduction, let me show you some more paper, maybe some other paper of mine, so that you will get some idea. It will take some time to, let me see, I have 2019, some paper I will open and then show you what is happening there in that paper. Okay, so let us see. So let me open one paper and then it takes, this is one paper. Let me open another. This paper. Yeah. So we have the next thing that I want to talk about is the mathematics subject classification that you may be seeing on the screen. So this is an important thing for the editorial office guy to decide whether your paper should go to a particular editor or not. You know, the journal office may have 50-60 editors, and how do the journal office will know that your paper should be handled by a particular editor? This subject classification will be very useful. If you are familiar with subject classification, then you can write it. If you don't know what is this subject classification, then there are two places where you can get information about it. One is the American Mathematical Society website. If you go to the mathcnet.ams.org/mathcnet, I think you will be able to see the screen like this, and then there are some free tools available there. You will see subject classification in all detail. So you can look at the pull down menu and it will show hundreds of areas in mathematics. It is showing from 00 general to number 5 combinatorics, number 30 is about complex functions, and 33 is special function, differential equation is 34, geometry is 51, and numerical analysis is 65. And you can see that operation research is 90, and mathematical education is 97. For every broad area, there is a number. So it ranges between 00 to 97 now. So there are anyway not continuous, there are some gaps in between. There should be some gap in between. Where is the gap now? 86 onwards, there is some gap. 86, 87, there are many gaps here. This will be filled with newer classification, if at all, if they are emerging. As of now, they have put so many numbers. Really not 99 message, but little less than that. But for every area, there is a classification number. For real analysis, 26. So for complex analysis, where I work, it is 30. So if you want to see what are the further classification within complex analysis, you will see that there are how many? I don't know. You can count it leisurely, and there are so many subdivision of complex analysis. And the 30 is the two-level subject classification. Actually, we are having a 5-character classification code. So now what you are saying is 30. Within 30, there are many areas. You will see that many of them are coming with 5 characters. So this 5-character subject classification is the one that you have to find out for the problem that you are working on. Your problem may be falling in many of these categories. So you have to find all that relevant to your problem. So before coming to the 5-level category, there is another 3-level category, 30A. These are general properties of complex function. And then 30B, series expansion. 30C, geometric function theory. 30D, it is all about entire function. 30E, miscellaneous topics. So if you know about Riemann surfaces, then that comes under 30F. So generalized function theory, 30G. So many classifications are there. So you can see this. So you can identify the 3-level subject classification. So what I do is about geometric function theory. Within geometric function theory also, there are many other subject classifications. So your actual problem may fall in general theory of universal mean, 30C45, maybe 30C80. So you may have many classifications that are related to your particular paper. So what you have to do is you have to find out that classification number and then you have to write it in your paper. So I have written many classification now because all these are relevant to the problem that I am treating here. Okay. So I have written 30A, 32A, and 30C80 and 30C45. So this is related to 4 different categories. 3 of them are for complex analysis. 32 is for different topic, correct? 32 is something else, harmonic mapping or something like that. So you can see this website and then identify your subject classification. There is a searchable database, so you can search or you can browse leisurely and then learn. So this is the free tool available from the AMS website, and you can use this free tool to do many more things. And here is something called ERDAS number, collaboration distance. If you want to know collaboration distance, you can find out by using this. If you want to know my collaboration distance to PAL ERDAS, then we can you can find out. This is I don't know whether you people have heard about this collaboration number. There is something called the ERDAS number in a popular culture. Paul ERDAS is a combinatorial mathematician. He has visited all the countries, written papers with so many people, and therefore people try to find whether they can be connected to Paul ERDAS by the co-authors. In the screen that you will be seeing that I have written a paper with R and Mohapatra. Mohapatra has written a paper with Sharma, and this Sharma has written a paper with Paul ERDAS. So with the 3 connection, I can reach Paul ERDAS. So my ERDAS number is 3. For most of the people, the ERDAS number is either 3 or 4. So you can find out this collaboration distance from this AMS.
Hello, sir. Sir, not audible, sir. Sir?
Okay, somebody muted me. I don't know for how long, but anyway, you can alert me when I'm not audible. I think I'm not. Okay, now unmute. I think you people should be able to hear. I was telling about these two websites. One is the AMS website. This is by American Mathematical Society. The other one is the Central Plot by the European Mathematical Society. This European Mathematical Society and American Mathematical Society will provide you a very nice interface to search all the articles in the mathematical literature. So you can use this, but this AMS one is not free. But whereas if you go to the Central Plot one, I think you will be able to search by using author name or everything you can search, and then you will get a lot of papers from there. If you see, I have searched by using this name Naveen Kumar, and then I see many papers that this guy has written. And if you click the title of the paper, then what you will see is the abstract of the paper. Anyway, they will be asking you. You can see that they are showing the abstract of the paper here, and then they are actually showing you the reference that are also available on the paper. This will be happening only for those journals that are really in a high standard. For poor quality journal, they don't do this job. In AMS, they call it as a reference list journal. I think the similar name should be there in Central Plot also. And you can see that math is nicely displayed here, correct? If you see that the abstract is shown nicely on the display. If you want to know how this is actually done, then there is an interesting software, not software, there is something like Java. There is something like JavaScript, there is some other script that is doing all the job. This is actually typed in LaTeX only, and then this LaTeX code is shown on the website directly without any conversion to pictures and all that. In those old days, anything typed in LaTeX will be converted to a picture and it will be shown, but nowadays they don't need all this. They will be just showing directly all these things by using something called the MathJax. I think I should show you the website for MathJax, and this is used by most of the commercial publisher and all these places. So the MathJax is a website that is developing the Java-like application to show all the content of that you can prepare by LaTeX on the website. So if you are going to create a website and you are going to prepare your notes and post it there, then you can easily do it in these days. For mathematics also, you can see that the Cauchy integral formula is nicely shown on the website. This is not picture, this is by using the MathJax. So you can learn MathJax by using this website itself. There are not books written on this, only the documentation here you can use to read and learn. And anyway, you can try by example, and then you will get a lot of help from some of the website like Math Stack Exchange. Math Stack Exchange. It is probably you might have heard about this place where you can get a lot of help regarding solving a particular question in mathematics. So you can also get a lot of information about MathJax also from somewhere like another site. Instead of MathJax, I think is Stack Exchange. You can go through and then you will find a lot of information about all these things. Anyway, forget about the MathJax now. Let me also wind up with this quickly. So I was talking about abstract, and then we came back to the subject classification number. The classification numbers are the ones that are used in the database. And when searching this, if you click the the subject classification number, you will see a lot of information about it. In 30C45, there are 12,429 articles. In complex analysis, there are 80,562 articles. In geometric function theory, there are 30,462 articles. So if you click these numbers, then you will get more and more information about these articles. You can see that there are 30,462 articles. Then you can see the abstract of all these, but only 3 is now shown because this is free, but they are going to make this platform free from the coming year. So this is already on the pipeline that from the coming year, this will be completely free, unlike the AMS, which is not even free for the 3 things. And if you know the title of the paper, then you can title of the paper, then also you can get the abstract from this website. Okay, there are many things that you can even get it from here. For example, if you click the author name, then it will show you a profile of the particular author. It shows the author name, what are the other names that he has used, what is his home page, what are the other things. Actually, there are many things that you can get it from this particular website. You have a link to the ResearchGate, and then there are many other databases are linked, how many publications he has, how many reviews that he has written for the central plot math, who are the co-authors you can see, and then what are the journals wherein he has published, what are the areas in which he has published. He has published in function theory, in potential theory, in ODE, in several complex theory. All that information you can see about an individual. So these kind of databases are providing you a profile of every researcher in the world. And also you can find out your genealogy, in that who is your father, forefather, and all that you can find out. Not your real forefathers, but your mathematical forefathers. For example, if you go to my web page, I think I must have shown my, let me click this and then show you my mathematical forefathers. Here is my mathematical forefathers. If you can see the screen of my profile page, I will explain about this mathematical genealogy project. I have done PhD with my supervisor Shanmugam. Shanmugam has done with Rajagopalan, and she has done PhD with Padmanabhan. Padmanabhan has done PhD with Ganapati Iyer. Ganapati Iyer did PhD with Vaidyanatha Swami. He did with Whittaker, and then if you trace back, and then it will go all the way to Isaac Newton. You can see that Isaac Newton is my grand supervisor. If you still trace back, and then it goes all the way to somebody by name Tartaglia. Tartaglia is the one who found out the complex numbers. He's, the Cardan formula. If you have heard about the solving cubic equation, there is a formula called the Cardan formula. This Cardan formula was originally found out by the Tartaglia. So my, forefather, mathematical forefather, traced back to the one who found out complex numbers. Anyway, this all you can find out by using the EZBL MGP, this project, Mathematical Genealogy Project. I think it is not working now in my browser, so let me skip that. So you can find many information like this from Central Plot website, as well as from the MathCNet website. I think in the MathCNet website also you will see many free tools that are available. Forget about it, we will skip all these. So you can explore, slowly you can log into Central Plot, and then you can see what are the things available. For example, this particular tab says that you can search for a particular article and the abstract, you can search about authors, you can search about various journals available in mathematics. So you can search about all the journals that are available. There are 5,000 plus journals available. You can search about journals that are coming from, say, for example, Malaysia. So let me try with this keyboard and then see what happens. There are 4 journals that are coming from Malaysia. So there is something like that. You can click this and then you can get more and more information about it. You can search a particular journal. And they have published about 1,476 publications since 2000 and 840 publication with references. They have published 235 papers in combinatorics and 136 paper in complex analysis and so on. Why I am saying all this is that you can choose a journal by looking at the journal profile, what kind of papers they are publishing. So this journal focus more on combinatorics, operator theory, PDE, and complex function, ODE, and so on. You can see. So you will get more information. I told about classification already, so you might have seen this. And then you can also look for mathematical software. There are many software that are available. If you go to the SW Math, I think you will see many software that are available here. I have not explored the formula, so I'm not going to say what it is. Okay, let me stop here and then come back to the original discussion of what we need to put after the title. I have shown you a paper, I guess. In one of the window, I have shown you a paper of mine. So I said you have to put the subject classification that are relevant to your research areas. The next thing is keywords. In this particular journal, they have written the keywords as keywords only. In some other journal, they will be putting it as a keywords and phrases. You have to really carefully choose at least 4 to 6 keywords for your paper. And the keywords in this, I think we have separated by using comma. So you can see that I have used comma here. Probably this is the way the journal do it. But normally you should not use comma here. You choose carefully the keywords, and then while typing the keywords, instead of using comma, then you put semicolon. Because there may be something like, Rama and Govinda. So this may be one phrase. The comma may be coming. So comma is not really a good thing to separate the keywords. You should use a semicolon, even though here they have used a comma here. But you never use comma, you use always semicolon. This is one important thing that I often say to people. Okay. So finishing with the subject classification and keywords, you can go with your main paper. Mostly editors and editor-in-chief of your paper will read the introduction part, but nothing beyond that. So the introduction part really should tell what are the basics that you need to understand the paper, whatever definition you need, all that you can put it in the introduction. And then you can give motivation for your problem. In this paper, we have written about what others have done in this paper. And then we have also mentioned what we have done in the paper. So what we have done in the paper is also mentioned. And then we have said, what is that we have done in the paper exactly. This is a very small paper of 13 pages. So in 3-4 lines, we have written what exactly we have done. Here you can see that the CV alpha, F alpha kind of symbols are coming, but that is not here. Normally, when I was a very young guy, I used to copy the abstract and then paste it there in the last part of the introduction. That should not be done. We should write it in a slightly different way. When we write the abstract, we don't have any previous definition of classes or notions. But when you have already written the introduction, you will be having all these notations. So you can use a notation to write down what you are doing in the paper. So you can even state some theorems also here in a running text. No need to write as a theorem proof kind of thing. But anyway, you have your own preference of writing. In some paper, I have written down the theorems here, and then I have given the proof in various sections. If you have only one theorem, but your proof is very long and you have split it into several lemmas, and then you need many explanation in between, you can design your paper accordingly. But in general, we normally don't put the theorems here, but we give a very good outline by exactly saying what you have done in the paper. So for whatever you want to explain here, we have introduced a notation, everything here. We have given the literature review here, and then, so let us do all this. Let me add one or two more things, and then I will go back and then continue with other things. So here the advice, general advice is don't price too much about what others have done. Okay, I have written one line for every paper. Nothing much I have written. For one line or even less than one line I have written. These are all to see that we have done homework. That problem is new. Nobody has done it. Probably I have to say that it is relevant to the current literature. So all that is needed. So literature review is an important thing. How do you do the literature review? I will just go back to the references immediately after 2-3 sentences about the introduction part. So the introduction should contain all the basic definition and concept. All the previous work should be highlighted. And then finally, what you have done in the paper should be written. Okay, this is what is important. And one important remark that I can make about all this is when you are using the author name here, then don't use initials. Don't say that A.L. Dixon or V. Ravichandran. Okay, so don't say that because normally in the references, all these initials will come, but not inside the main text. And if there are 3 or more authors, you always abbreviate by writing first author and then et al. This is what the general idea. So I think there is some crosstalks. So I'm just waiting for the crosstalk to be over. Anyway, so the one advice is that you use et al. If there are more than 3 authors, and then don't use initial when you are citing the author name here. This is the best thing that you have to remember. And motivation is important. Why you are motivated to do this particular problem that you tell. So I'm going to jump straight away to the references, and then I will say a few things about main body. Main body, I think it is your research, so you should be able to tell. So I'm going to go and say something about references. Okay. So one thing that I will be telling you about this particular acknowledgement. Acknowledgement usually comes before the references. You might have typed one paper and then you will be using the same acknowledgement for funding or something like that. And then here is an acknowledgement for the referees. So while copying this acknowledgement, we may copy the acknowledgement to the referee also in our paper which has not been submitted anywhere. But if the acknowledgement to the referee is there, then normally journal people will start thinking that this paper was revised in another paper. Even after the revision, they have rejected, therefore the paper is coming to us. Let us straight away reject it. So be very careful about adding the acknowledgement to the referees in the first version when you send it to the journal. Never add it. Don't be lazy. Delete it. And then add it when the actual revision comes. Okay, so what I want to say about the references, if you want your paper to be accepted in good journal, you have to be really careful in dealing with the references. Of course, you have to follow the style of a particular journal while typing it. Okay, when you type a paper for AMS, you type it in AMS style. When you type it Philomath, you type it in the Philomath style. When you submit to Springer, you use the Springer style. When you are trying for Elsevier, download the Elsevier article style and then use it. So every journal has the article style, and then you download the style and then learn it and then type it in their own style. That is important. For example, I can show you a particular paper that we have written recently, and then we have I don't know, I don't want to compile now, but otherwise you have to edit according to the style of a particular journal. Use the particular style file for the particular journal. That is all about the preparation part. What is important, what I want to say about the references is, the references is the one place where the editor always look. Why do editor look at references? The references are looked at just because he will be choosing the people cited in your references as the referees. Okay, so the referees are normally chosen by looking at your references. Here I have seen some paper in 2010, 2014, and then 2007, 2001, 1985, 2016, 2017, and then 2015, 2018 there are some papers cited here, and then 2018, and then any other paper, even there is a paper in 2019. So these are all important for us to have. The papers of recent dates, that should be there in the references. Because when I want to send a paper, if I choose a person's paper who is cited in 2002, for example, Dinesh Singh, his paper is cited here and published in 2002. He has already retired. So retired person may not be interested in doing a refereeing for your paper. And if you look at somebody else, he might have died also. This Boris paper is 1914. I cannot choose Boris as a referee because he might have died already. So you have to help the journal by putting new papers like this one, 2018. Definitely Yuvraj or Banu must be alive now, even after the 2 years. One of them will be alive, so I can try them as a referees. So putting recent references help the journal office in choosing the referees. So you always put latest references. At least half of the references should be after 2010. Anything after 2010, I will say recent. Anything before that, I will say old ones. Anything before, say 2000, I will say by a different language. I will tell what is the language a referee has written for one of my papers submitted to a neural network journal. He has written that the authors have cited World War II journals. Even though I have cited a paper which was only published 2-3 years back in the same journal, the referee said it is all World War II problem, World War II references. So at least keep in mind that half of your paper should be of recent origin. Why it should be of recent origin? Not just to say that the editor can find referees. Normally journals don't want to publish a paper which is not of current interest. They want something wherein many people are working currently. So if there is no paper of recent origin cited, then people will think that this is not actively pursued area of research. This is already a dead area, so this paper may not be much interesting. So people will start thinking on that line. So it is better to have references which are recent. Okay, so how to type the main thing that I am not going to talk much. Maybe I will give you a few more hints. I think I may not have much time. I think I may go up to another 5-10 minutes. In the meantime, if you are familiar with LaTeX, and then if you have multiple equations, then there are certain things I can tell. For typesetting all these kind of things, don't use array environment. You can use the AMS cases environment, and then if you have multiple equations, then don't use equation array, rather use align environment. Align environment gives a nice spacing between the two things before the equality and before and after the equality. The align environment will give nice spacing, whereas equation array will give a very bad spacing. So never use array environments for any purpose. And also when you are typesetting a proof, use the proof environment so that the proof is nicely typeset and it is also ended with the end of the proof symbol so that people know where the proof ends. So you can use the proof environment. Never do numbering manually. You can have numbering generated automatically. You can see that I have put lemma 2.1, theorem 2.2, and then probably corollary 2.3 and so on. It goes in a sequential manner. So you can always choose numbering in a sequential manner, irrespective of whether it is theorem or corollary or something like that. It helps people to identify where it is. Because definitely some corollary 2.3 will be just before theorem 2.4, easy to identify. So usually numbering is done in a sequence, irrespective of the type of environment, theorem or corollary and so on. So these are some simple advice on the insight portion. One thing is important, the typography should be like the way it finally appears in the journal. You have to take care of that. There is no problem with the spacing. For example, here you have a comma after the 1. There is no spacing between 1 and comma. If you leave a space and then put a comma, then it will not look nice. It is not a correct thing also. There are many things that you should learn by learning LaTeX. So probably try to learn LaTeX, and then we can talk more on this kind of subtleties on preparing the paper. So now that I think I mentioned about many things, I'm going to show you, where do you get all the help? You need some textbooks. And then where do you get all the textbooks that are on this topic? So I'm going to show you some reference books for this particular topic. So let us show that list of references. I don't know how many of you heard about Paul Halmaz. Paul Halmaz is an American mathematician, and then he was the editor of the mathematical reviews that came long back, even coming in the Massina database form now. And then he has written a number of books like Naive Set Theory, Hilbert Space Problem books, and so on. So he has written a book called, How to Write Mathematics. Anyway, I have taught a course on research methodology for our MPhil PhD scholars at the University of Delhi. So I have prepared a research methodology course page wherein I posted information about it, and then you can probably see this website also later to get many information about what I have done in that course. For the LaTeX, I use the book written by the Leslie Lamport. Lamport has written the LaTeX software, that is why LA is there in the TeX. TeX is written by Donald Knuth, the guy whose name appears here. And this guy has written a book on mathematical writing, also published by the Mathematical Association of America. So you can either look at this book on mathematical writing, if you want to learn how to write mathematics. And there is also a handbook of writing for mathematical sciences. This is a handbook, so but very not thick book. But my suggestion is to read this particular book by Paul Halmaz and 3 other authors. Probably people must have heard about Dieudonné, who has written a 4-volume book on analysis. So these 4 people were asked to write a pamphlet for publication by the American Mathematical Society. They have to sit together and write. Finally, they could not sit together. Each one has written their own article, and they were published together. The one article by Paul Halmaz is a very interesting article that you should read. And this book, whole book, How to Write Mathematics, consists of about 150 pages. You can download from any website. Probably you know where to download the pirated books. You can download from there or somewhere. And there is a summary, 1-page, 2-page summary of this particular book. And this is also available on the Peter Cameron blog. He has written a summary of what Halmaz was saying in 20 points. So probably I may highlight some of the points quickly, but let me show you this page once again, and then come back to that one only. So this particular page of mine contains the link to math tools, PS tricks, the math jacks that I was talking about, and then there is a nice research methodology course offered by the Professor Sarkar from ISI Calcutta. If you want to teach this course, then you can look at his presentations and then Many other references are listed here for history of mathematics and so on, including that link for tech-related things that I was talking about. All are all here. So you don't need to worry about getting the links. You can just go to my research methodology page and you will get all these. And also there is a very elementary and interesting book by this guy from IMPAN. This is the Polish Mathematical Society. IMPAN is a Polish Mathematical Society, and they have written a manual to help the authors of the papers. You can look at this book also. They have written how to write it, like in a high school, we may be passing the sentence. They have shown all this passing a sentence and writing a sentence. This link will be much interesting for you people. And then everyone should look at this video, YouTube video, how to write mathematics badly. There is a nice video, and probably you can click and play how this video, and then enjoy how not to write a research paper. Since it is taking time and we are also going to be stopping soon, I think I will close this video, but you can look at this video and then see how not to write a mathematics paper. There will be many interesting things that you should avoid. Anyway, I'm closing this video, and then many things I'm going to close because I'm not going to continue with this. Let me also close my email. And quickly, let me tell something about something more. If you go to my another page called research page, which is again shown here, then there will be many things interesting coming in these pages. I have listed out some journals that are relevant to me. So many things are there, but anyway, you can explore my website later to get more and more information. Again, I'm closing this, and then this also I mentioned and told you can get all the information that I talked about. There are something called Digital Mathematics Library all over the world. There are many digital mathematics libraries. So I'm just showing the ZEC Digital Mathematics Library. By using this mathematics library, you will get all the old journals. If you are looking for some papers from a very old mathematics journal, you look at the country from where it comes and then go to the respective digital mathematics library. Then you will see the journal that are covered by them, and then you will get the paper from there. So you can use this kind of tool also. They have every journal available from 1965 volume 1. They have every journal available here on the website. This you normally not get through searching in Google. So you can use that, and then I will come back to this Paul Halmaz. Probably you people can read it on your own, but let me say one more tool. Typesetting the reference is so important. So what you do is, how to really typeset carefully. Then there is a tool called Mr. Ref. This is available on the AMS website called MRef. What you can do is you can type your reference, copy paste here, and then you can search. Once you search it, they will show you the actual references, and then you can click the tech, and then you will get the corresponding tech code. And then this tech code you can copy back into your LaTeX file. Then there won't be any mistake in typing these references. This is the best way to prepare your references at the end of the paper. Anyway, I am also closing this window. You can experiment it, and then let me spend 5 minutes on this how to write mathematics, the Halmaz book. So I'm going to highlight only a few things. Other things you can read the Paul Halmaz book itself and then learn. But then he is saying thing about alphabet of writing. What is the meaning? Then you have to really choose between the epsilon symbol and the sigma symbol and the summation symbol. You should not use the epsilon symbol, summation symbol for the for indexing set and so on. And epsilon and belongs to symbol are two different symbols, so you should be careful. And also, if you are writing a book for high school mathematics people, probably you can use ax plus by for writing a linear expression instead of a1 x1 plus a2 x2. Probably you can use this notation if you are going to go for higher dimension, then this is the best notation, not this ax plus by. And there are many interesting things, like if you write this xa square plus ya plus z equal to 0 as a quadratic in A, this is not really appealing. No? We are familiar with ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, so you should always think about the appropriate notation. If you are using inner product symbol, then you don't use the less than and greater than symbol. Many people are using the less than symbol and greater than symbol, and that is not going to really helpful. You use the L angle, R angle symbols. So there are many more advices that are given here, you know. So you can just read these advices and then read the Hallmark's book and then see what more you can do, you know. Let me wind up here. Maybe some time for you people to discuss anything that you want to ask. I think now we should leave it to the organizer to organize this interaction. I think I'm done with whatever I want to say now. So now it is over to the organizers. I think they may be listening. Some more people are listening, I guess. Anyway, I think thank you for listening, and there are many comments that are coming now. So let us see some comments from the. I cannot. I think I should stop sharing now. Okay, now the message window is coming. There are so many charts. Okay,
hello.
People are now saying thank you. Yeah, hello. Yeah.
Sir, in a paper, I mean, is there anything like that? Minimum, how many references to be quoted?
There is nothing like, you know, minimum reference, maximum reference, but at least I will suggest 20 to 30 references, of which at least 15, at least, you know, recent references of not the same person, maybe of different persons, so that it will be really helpful for the journal editor to find a referee. Of course, it will also say that you have done a good literature review. You know, nowadays every journal is doing a plagiarism check and then a similarity check. I don't know how many of you heard about these two things. These two things are different. Every journal like Springer and all that, they first do a plagiarism check whether you have copied from some other journal. That is one thing that should be anyway cleared by your paper. And then the second thing is similarity check. They will look at how much similarity is there with your paper and paper already published in the literature. That means somebody has done it for one particular problem. You are only changing the parameter, adding an extra term and then doing it. And then it will definitely show that the high similarity with another paper. So such papers are very difficult to get accepted. So you have to be really careful about it. So when you are adding a lot of papers to your references, that will show that you have done a good literature review. You know what has already happened it. Many times I have seen that you might have published a paper in one particular journal, but you may not have cited that particular paper in your own paper. We consider that as an offensive because you are hiding some information. Probably it may be a minor generalization of the paper. When we find all these, then, you know, we reject the paper. So it is always better to give all the references that are related to your areas, the latest especially. I think I answered that question. Video, I have not switched on my video, so I don't think that we need video now. Okay, any other question? There is a question. Is there a place to know recent conjectures? Actually, there is a lot of places to know conjectures. One best place is the too many conference proceedings that are published by Springers. Nowadays, Springer is publishing conference proceeding, and while publishing conference proceedings, the organizer normally collect a list of problems and conjecture as a part of the proceedings. So you can always look for conference proceedings. There you will find a lot of conjectures. Yeah, that is a place. Where can you find papers with collaboration on maths and computer science? I think there is a nice database of Centralblatt Math. I don't know the name now, but you can look at the Centralblatt web page, and then you will find a database for computer science. So you can see in that places. Can you send the session in YouTube? And I think this organizer will take care of. Yeah, they are going to. Some other question that are there.
Any other question? Sir?
I am Lawrence. I am Lawrence. I am Lawrence. I ask one question.
Yeah.
Sir, some of the journal writer nowadays, they change the definition because of plagiarism. They think we need the changes in definition. It is a correct one, or we use the same definition what are given in the previous paper.
Actually, if you read the Hallmark's book, and my own feeling is that we are now rewriting everything. How many times we can rewrite? It is a difficult question to answer. How many times you can rewrite the definition to escape the plagiarism check? I think the plagiarism in the introduction section and then on the definition of already known things, this is perfectly all right. You should not worry about it. Editors will take care of these things. Okay, so if you write in introduction, if you put definition that is overlapping with other things, you don't need to worry about it. The journal people will know it. The mathematical community knows about it. And the problem should not come in the inside portion. In the main result section, in that if there is so much overlapping, then it is a problem. Yes. So it is a wise thing to put all the definitions that you need in your paper, which are already known, is to place them in the introduction. So then everybody will understand that the introduction is a survey of what is already known. So there is no problem. If there is a lot of overlapping with introduction, there is no problem. Especially definition, you put it as a definition, then there should not be a problem. We can explain the editor that, hey, this is already known definition, so we don't want to rewrite it. So you can always defend it. So no problem. Don't worry about putting the same introduction, same definition. That is not an issue. But don't copy somebody's introduction and write your introduction. You write your own introduction without looking at others' introduction. But definition can be the same. Theorem can be quoted verbatim without changing anything. They are all perfect. Is there attendance? Can we write reference number after the year in the introduction? Yeah, we can write the year or the reference number after the whatever you are writing. You can use reference number. Here also is possible. There is no problem with that. Somebody was asking. Is there any attendance link that is book for reference of application oriented of maths? I don't have an answer immediately for this. Yeah, somebody is coming and asking something. What is that? Some sound came, but nothing, no voice. Yeah, they are submitting. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, your informations are very useful to our young birds. Like it is very useful to our students community, definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
Likely in mathematics subject classification very useful to us. And how to write, you said ignore the that means give the proper equation. It's very useful to us. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir.
I am just pasting some website where you can download research paper or books, but these are all not the legal site. These are all illegal sites. I have listed 2 sites which they are illegal sites, but you will download every paper that you want. Samsung.
Any
Sunil
other
Verma
question?
is asking for some paper, some problem on univalent function theory. I think he can write to me directly. I will reply him. So Sunil also here. Okay, that is great. At least I know Sunil here now. So I have a known participant. I don't know about others. Sunil is known to me very well. My email ID that people are asking. So let me try. It is vravi68 at gmail.com. So you could have seen my website also. So I will paste my website. I think they can explore. So that I have posted my website link also. Let me.
Participants, any other questions? No. Now it's the time for vote of thanks. It will be delivered by our faculty members, M. Lakshmi Priya.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A very good afternoon, everyone. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. I thank our special guest and resource person, Dr. V. Ravichandran, Professor of Mathematics, National Institute of Technology, Trichy. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. Thank you, sir. We are very grateful to our Dr. Sister Principal, who has always been a great support behind such events. I express my immense gratitude to our Secretary Mother, Dr. Sister Mariammal. Thank you, Sister. My sincere thanks goes to the organizing committee who make today's program a successful one. I extend my gratitude to all the staff members from various colleges, those who present here. Finally, I end with the quote, "A change is the end result of true learning. A change is the end result of true learning. Let's make a change." Once again, I thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Participants, all the participants, please kindly attention. Tomorrow's session will be sharply started at 10 o'clock. The link will be sent your mail. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. I'm signing off. If you want anything, you can write an email to me and you can mention that you are participant of this particular program.
Yes,
definitely,
I will reply.
sir.
Yeah, I will reply to whatever queries you have. Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you so much,
joining,
sir.
to giving more information about all things. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Probably we will again meet on one day for training you on LaTeX if you people are interested.
Of
You
course.
can probably try to find out feedback about whether people are interested in LaTeX, and if we have, then in that case we should not have a big crowd like this. Maybe we can restrict the number to about 30 to 40. Then we can do a training session on LaTeX. You can think about it. We can do it later. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm signing off.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am, for organizing this section. It is very useful to our young buds, like our students community. Definitely, not for only for the researchers, it's also the professors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am. You are also welcome. Continue this process and organize many meeting in online. It is very useful
Sure,
to our.
ma'am. Sure,
Okay,
sure,
thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
இங்க பாருங்க ப்ரோக்ராமே முடிஞ்சிருச்சு இன்னும் ரெக்கார்டிங் அவங்க க்ளோஸ் பண்ணல அப்பனா அது இல்ல
எங்க கொடுத்த ஏ
Ma'am?
Hello, tell me, ma'am.
What about the e-certificate, ma'am? Any feedback?
Feedback link is already there, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Wait,
Okay.
ma'am. Wait, ma'am. Wait, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
சரி போய் டீயை போட்டு போல காலையில இந்த அடுப்பை ஒழுங்கா பால் கேஸ் நல்லா இருந்துமா அடுப்பு எல்லாரும் நம்ம வச்சுட்டு கிச்சன்